Well, today something a bit different. We're going to be doing some work on that, which is still yet to make it to an actual video. I'll get to it. So this is my 2013 Boss 302 Mustang, and for about the last 3 years I have been plagued with a perceived misfire, and it has just driven me to distraction. I've done lots of different things. I've swapped coil packs about, swapped spark plugs about, and I'll explain why in a second. And recently I had the injectors serviced, although I actually had the injectors ruined by a company that serviced them. So then I had to buy 8 new injectors, which are fitted, which puts me back to square one, still with the same problem, but no more overfueling stuff. And I'm not going to get into that. I'll argue that with them and that'll be fine. But anyway, after I sent the injectors for servicing, and we'll put that in quotes, I was on a Boss 302 forum, I think on Facebook, and somebody was complaining of the exact same symptoms that I'd got. And one of the guys on there said, you can throw parts at that all day long. There's a TSB for it, a technical service bulletin, and it's a really easy fix. And I said, tell me what it is. And I never got a response, which is a bit disappointing. But anyway, we'll move on from that. I've found it, and I have the information here. It's Ford TSB 13-6-15, which is probably its date. And it is for malfunction indicator lamp DTCS P0300 to P0308 and or P0316. No drivability symptoms, built on or before May the 1st, 2013, which is that car. And that includes all of the 2011 to 14 5 litre Coyote or Roadrunner engine that's in that one. And what happens is, when I'm driving it in a spirited fashion, it's fine if you're absolutely on it, it's fine if you're off the throttle, but if you're going through a corner bravely, you want a balanced throttle, that's when you're going to have the issue. And mine will start by flashing the engine management light on the dash, and then the next time I do it, it goes into a half limp mode, then it recovers, then the light stays on. And I end up with these 3 codes, always in the same order: P0304 00EE, misfire detected cylinder number 4, 30700 E8, misfire detected cylinder 7, and then finally the third one, P0300 00EC, random misfire detected. You never can feel a misfire. And apparently this is caused when the revs are between 3,200 and 4,500 RPM with a 25% load on the throttle. So basically, as I've described, balanced throttle through the corners, high RPM, spirited driving, and you're going to have this issue. And what's actually been done is that Ford have found this problem, and it's the crank position sensor moving ever so slightly. It must be that vibration that's causing it, and it's getting a misread, then it's detecting a misfire that isn't happening. And their solution is to pull the crank position sensor, stick an O-ring on it, and put it back in. So I've started taking it apart. It's really easy to get to. Anyone that follows the channel knows that I'm quite into my Land Rovers of late, and working on those is impossible near on. Once you're used to that, nothing's ever going to cause you a bother, and I benchmark everything against a Land Rover, so anything is easy compared to that. So I've pulled out the crank position sensor, and I thought what I should do actually is share this information. So we're going to pick up part way through. I'll get you in and show you where it is, show you what we're going to do with it, and yeah, let's crack on. Hopefully, if you've got this issue, this video is going to solve that for you. Let's get going. Right, like I said, I've already started this, so apologies for the slightly backward step. This is the crank position sensor. That's it, it's out. it's held in that orientation in the bell housing with a single 8mm headed bolt here, which nicely is captive, so you're not going to drop it. Just undo it and it's ready to come out. Squeeze connector on the cable, lift that off. You can get it out with the cable on, you just need to twist slightly, then lift it out, and that's probably easier than trying to get hold of the detent on the cable, on the connector. But essentially what the TSB says is that you're going to remove this rubber cover here, which is like a dust cover, and then fit a 3.5mm diameter O-ring. I'll link the part number in the description, but it seems to be a fuel injector O-ring, and because I've had some injector troubles, I've got some spares already. So we'll slide this dust cover off, and hopefully you can see here you've got this sort of location almost. There's like a register where an O-ring can sit, and the dust cover is way too soft to absorb any vibration. So some of you guys, you might know better than me, in fact anyone will know better than me really. When this is sat in the bell housing and picking up on the crank wheel, it seems, to me at least, that this dust cover isn't going to hold this tight, and because there's so much of a gap sort of around this bolt, I think the vibration is allowing this just to move a bit too much, and that's where you're getting that detected misfire, because obviously it's firing at slightly the wrong time, and I mean obviously that's massively exaggerated for the amount of revolutions that you'd be getting. Anyway, all that nausea aside, slide an O-ring on. I've already cleaned the crank position sensor on mine. And look, that fits absolutely perfectly in there. And then put the dust cover back on, which we can do very simply, like that. And that now looks like the TSB pictures. And again, I'll link that description as well, or a location for that technical service bulletin. Now we put it back in the car, then we're going to go out and, well, it's already dirty, so we'll give it a good proper rip in and see what happens. See if it's fixed. Anyway, come and have a look at the car. I'll show you how to get to the thing, where it goes, and really how easy it is to fit. So, giving myself a little bit of extra height there with a telescopic pole instead of a bonnet prop, and that just gives me that little bit more access down the back here, because it is down the back of the V and above the bell housing. And what I've done is I've jammed my screwdriver down there, so hopefully you can follow the direction down to where the crank position sensor is. And yeah, you can just see, almost centre shot there, that larger hole is where the sensor goes in, and the bolt hole is just above it. You can see it's threaded there. Now, while you're looking for this, if you find this heat shielded cable, this is the one for the crank position sensor. That's going to drop down. You can follow that down and you'll find it. And you can see here, this is the squeeze clip. It says desperately trying to focus. Squeeze that to release it and pull it off the crank position sensor. Words. So, I am now going to drop that 6 times and try and get it in the hole. Just down there. Well, that's a really good shot. And get it bolted up, clip the wire back on, and we're good to go. I might even just get bold enough to try and do this on camera. It seems that I can either see or I can do, but not both. Hold on. That's actually in the hole. Go me. just get the bolt started. Let's run all the way in. I've just got a long 8mm socket and 2 extensions, which I'll now drop over the battery to start a fire. It's easier than working on that idiot. That's it. It's on. You can see, you can just get in there behind the battery. This does not need to be tight, this bolt. That's that. It goes on the floor. Big screwdriver can come out now because we don't need that in there anymore. And now, connect the wiring. Oh, it's a nice snap when that went on. That's it. Can you see it now? You can see the wiring. I might just mention that this I did see is fiberglass, and that is now slightly itchy on the back of my hand, so probably be smart, wear some gloves when you're doing that. Anyway, that's that part done. On to the next. Okay, so we've had a little run out. Car's up to temp now. We should be able to perform the Misfire monitor neutral profile correction. So, ignition's on. Doesn't read oil temperature when it's not running, but it is up to temperature, trust me. We'll go into our service menu. And engine control, Misfire monitor neutral position correction. Ignition is on. We agree with all of this. The aircon's off, everything's turned off. Start engine, or crank for 5 seconds. If the engine doesn't start, do not depress throttle pedal, okay? Verify that the vehicle is ready to learn a Misfire profile correction. No DTCS are present, we've cleared all of those. It's not experiencing any misfire, it's in neutral, etc. Handbrake's on, and it's fully warm. Go. Okay, in order to learn new MMNPC value, the PCM needs to monitor several complete crank position profiles while the engine decelerates with fuel shut off and external load stable and minimised. Right. Raise the RPM above the threshold value, so this is to learn a new value. Raise the RPM above the threshold value. Quickly and fully release the throttle and allow the engine to return to idle. Monitor the PIDs to determine learning progress. If the countdown does not reach 0, repeat the above procedure. Do not exit until completed. The Misfire will not function without an MMNPC. Okay. threshold RPM 4325. Procedure's been completed. Okay. Set the ignition to off. Okay. I'll be honest, that didn't feel like that was enough, and I don't know, to be fair, whether I actually accelerated hard enough on that. I just brought the revs up. It talked more about the deceleration value, which I dropped it down, so that was as quick as it's likely to spin down. I don't know, really. I guess now we go and test it. So, yeah, let's do that. Let's go and test it. I just don't hold out that much hope, if I'm honest, but let me pack up some bits here and we'll go out and give it a go. Is it fixed? Oh, I don't hold out a great deal of hope for it. It drives nicely. If any of you are thinking this video looks a bit backwards, it's because we're in the UK and we drive on the left here. Last week I spent driving around France, driving on the right in a right-hand drive car. This week I'm on the left in a left-hand drive car, so there's no doubt to my durability on this one. Certainly does have a bit of get up and go. Is that an early indication that it's working, or is it too soon to tell? In full disclosure, while I was warming the engine up and going to that industrial estate where I thought there was going to be a bit more shade and I could sit in the car with the window up where the camera's mounted there, I did try it, and I did get a set of misfire detections. So that's why I was a little bit negative, to be fair, about the chances of it working. But I hadn't done the relearn procedure. So yes, I fitted an O-ring. However, you know, what I haven't done was the sort of critical second stage of it. We'll say it was critical, in order to do that relearn. So I mean, yeah, it's a little bit unfair perhaps at the moment. I want to say it's fixed. Obviously I don't know just yet. I need a bit of space where I can get the revs up and hold them up in that sort of around about 4,000 RPM sweet spot. It's not really a sweet spot, is it? But you know what I mean, like where it's going to fail. And it doesn't take much to generate the failure, so is it fixed? Have a guess. Come on, have a guess. Who thinks it's fixed? I really want it to be fixed. You know, there's other little jobs that need doing on this car, and this thing has just plagued me. It has annoyed me for a long time now. Let's see if third gear can get us where we need to be. And that's kind of a balanced throttle, just over 4,000, almost 4.5. I'm not seeing anything. Do not flash that MIL, please. 3.6, 3.7, bit of throttle, balanced throttle. Oh, cautiously optimistic. Cautiously optimistic. Can it be as simple as a, you know, less than £1 worth of O-ring? Have I had a problem for 3 years that could have been resolved for less than £1? Which has annoyed me. To the point of considering selling this car and knowing that I couldn't sell it in good conscience to somebody else with a stupid, well, I didn't know it was a stupid fault. I didn't know what the fault was, did I? Oh, God. The anguish on this now. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. I don't know. If it would just chuck the engine management light on, I'd know it wasn't fixed, wouldn't I? Is it fixed? I don't know. I'm just full of mistrust. I want it to be fixed. It seems like it's okay. God. This is so bad. I've followed Ford's TSB. I've done what they suggest you do, and I've done the Misfire, massive length of words, Misfire relearn procedure, and it was successful. I've driven the car a bit. I've had the revs up, 3.5 to 4.5, 5,000, balanced throttle, so 25% load is what they say. Everything that would normally cause me to get the engine management light to flash and then come on It's not doing it. So, either it's fixed, or for whatever reason, I'm not able to recreate the condition. And now I'm just agonising over it. Yeah, that's really bad. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's fixed. Love it when I get a clear run. That's a good feeling. Fantastic. And also, I put up with this situation for 3 or more years. I've been agonising over this problem. Right, I'm not going to consider the frustration of that because that's stupid, right? This is fixed. Less than £1's worth of O-ring that I actually had, and 10-15 minutes of effort. Boss is back. Oh, it's good. It's good. I'm so thrilled. I'm actually like ridiculously grinning. And I don't really smile. Yeah, I do. Just not much. Oh man, I can't quite get over that. I can't get over how elated I am with this. Oh, it's good. So good. so good to have you back. Maybe you'll get a few more miles put on you now. You'll get a bit more used. So that's it then. It's done. It's fixed. 3 years or more. And it probably is more, to be honest. I've put up with that for the sake of an O-ring. Information I couldn't find. Still, on the bright side, I'm absolutely thrilled to have it back, and it's working. So, if you've got the P0300X error codes, random misfire detections, and you can't feel it, check out that Ford TSB, the Technical Service Bulletin. I'll stick a link to it in the description. You've seen it, it's easy. You need an 8mm socket. You are going to need somebody with a diagnostic that can perform that relearn procedure. And that's it. Easy. Hope it's helpful. If you've got an 11 to 14 5-litre Mustang, be it GT or a Boss, and you've got that problem, hopefully you won't have shortly. Thanks for watching, really appreciate it. I'm over the moon. Gonna go home. I'm not gonna wash it. I'm gonna put it in the garage and I'm gonna open a beer. And then one evening this week, if this weather stays like this, I'll get it properly clean. And I'm looking forward to getting out in it and really enjoying it a bit more this summer. Take care.